Hi, and welcome to the Homeopathy Health Show here on the UK Health Radio Network. I'm Atik.
And I'm Naila.
We're both professional registered homeopaths, and between us have over 25 years of professional practice in this field of healing.
The Homeopathy Health Show is the voice of homeopathy on radio and podcasts around the world, promoting and raising awareness of this truly unique system of healing and healthcare, which is suitable for all ages, young and old.
Every week, we invite guests from the world of homeopathy to come and share their experiences, their work, offer insights, and essentially talk all things homeopathy.
Visit www.ukhealthradio.com to listen now. To find out more about us, you can visit us at www.homeopathyinpractice.co.uk. And whilst you are there, do subscribe to our newsletter.
Be inspired
and join the conversation.
So let's begin today's show here on the UK Health Radio Network, the world's #1 talk health radio.
Real feel-good radio.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Homeopathy Health Show here on the UK Health Radio Network. And of course, it's available on all the major podcast platforms. I'm your co-host, Atik.
And I'm Naila. Welcome everyone to our today's episode.
It's going to be another jam-packed episode, of course, of the world's #1 radio talk show on homeopathy. And what better way than to introduce our guest for today, none other than Dr. Ruchi Shirudkar from India. She's the founder and director of Pediatreat and a distinguished classical homeopath with over 20 years of experience. She is a student and accomplished doctor, and she has treated patients worldwide and mentored thousands of young homeopaths through her seminars, lectures, and online platform. And we do actually have some very, very good news for you indeed as far as homeopathy in practice is concerned. But I'll wait until Naila actually jumps on and says what that surprise is. But trust me, it's something you've been waiting for. Now, Dr. Shirudkar is especially renowned for her work in pediatric care with neurodivergent children and is the author of a much-loved book, Clinical Pediatrics. With over 14,000, yes, you heard me, 14,000 YouTube subscribers and international collaborations with institutions like the Austria School of Homeopathy, she has become a leading voice in inclusive classical homeopathy. And both Naila and myself are really honored to have you on the Homeopathy Health Show today. Welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for such a warm welcome. It's my pleasure.
It's so wonderful to have you here, Dr. Ruchi, because I myself have been studying with you for past 2.5 years now. And I have to say, I have learned so much from your small indications of big remedies. Sometimes we just miss those indications. Sometimes it's difficult, especially with children. I work a lot with children as well. Children cannot express like adults can. And there comes the need to observe, and observation as a homeopath is so important. That I have to say I've learned with you, and I really want to tell everyone I didn't want to learn from you alone. That's why we here at Homeopathy in Practice are going to bring an exclusive masterclass with Dr. Ruchi Shirudkar on neurodivergent children who want to express but cannot. Children who need us, who need our help, who want to live their life for the fullest. And we are going to bring the beautiful, the most amazing masterclass to you. Dr. Ruchi has extensive experience with working with children, looking at those tiny minor signs that we sometimes miss, looking at that, why is that eye a bit different, or why is that hand going up and not that hand going up, or why is the child just so smiling even though it's telling about it hurts him. All these indications and everything that we are going to teach you, we are going to learn from our amazing teacher, Dr. Ruchi Shirudkar. We're extremely honored to have you on our show.
Thank you, Naila. I am equally excited to explore this world of neurodivergent kids with homeopathy in practice.
And the good news is that we have a free introductory session on Saturday, the 11th of October, and that's going to be at 4:30 p.m. UK time. So you can register online for that session, and you can find us on all the socials. Just go to at Homeopathy in Practice, or visit the website, of course, with the three W's, homeopathyinpractice.co.uk, and do register and sign up, because this is honestly something not to be missed. And we have the best teacher for that, and we're very, very honored. So talking about neurodivergent children, let's very interested to know really, what was that moment where that interest was sparked, that this is where you wanted to focus, or was it just a natural organic progression into this area as a homeopath?
Yeah, as a homeopath, I used to come across a lot of kids in my practice. And honestly, after being a mother, there was a natural inkling towards children. And as Naila rightly said, they cannot voice out their sufferings, or they cannot put into words what is bothering them most. So there was a natural inkling towards kids. And more so when I was exposed to this world of neurodiversity, my heart really broke for the child and for the parents, because it's sometimes not justified the way the world looks at them. They are not able to talk, they are a little hyperactive, may not perform according to the usual standards of the world, but people think they are mad, or people are not very comfortable around them. But believe me, neurodivergent is not, they are not insane, or it's not a disease. It's just they are differently wired brains. They
Mm,
think differently. They can be even more intelligent than the normal kid. But so yeah, that is the time I really thought that I need to work in this field. And some initial good success and the smiles on the faces of parents made me all the more interested. And as far as allopathic science is concerned, there is no specific medicine or treatment for neurodiversity, which they are termed as incurable, or they are given like medicines like Ritalin or antidepressants. And the only treatment left is either OT or some therapies, speech therapies. There's no
mm,
basic treatment for them. And that is the time when I started working with them. And I realized that homeopathy has a great, great scope when we talk of neurodiversity. And we have at Pediatreat, we have a proven data, we have done research and innovation that how pregnancy history is related to the chances of neurodiversity, what kind of medicines we can give to such children, and more than, believe me, more than 50% success rate we have when we talk of neurodiversity. There are kids who are almost 100% better. There are kids, because it also depends on which stage you have started working. The earlier the intervention, the better the results.
it is truly amazing. In fact, it's really, really interesting, because we were just talking about this the other day as far as autism is concerned, and prescribing neurodivergent children, and how the results within homeopathy are so absolutely phenomenal. Children who were very, let's say, very active and maybe even hyperactive have just totally calmed down. Children who had problems with speech delay have started to talk. And children, I remember a case many years back where a child it was in the US at that time, and he wasn't speaking. And after a couple of years, 2 years of treatment, he came top of his class. And it was just phenomenal. And this is the power of homeopathy we're talking, and it's just amazing, isn't it, Nyla?
It's after attending your sessions, I remember I've started looking at the pregnancy history differently, how the pregnancy history can have a huge impact on the child. And I gave a remedy, Adamas, to a child with profound effect. And that remedy was not prescribed by the symptoms of the child, but by the symptoms of the mother. And when I told her, the mother, about the remedy, she read, obviously they read on internet, and she said, "Oh, I think this is a remedy for me." And it helped him. I can say I've saved a few children from going on antidepressant, because that was the next step what the doctors were prescribing them.
Mm,
As you so aptly said, because there is not much help available out there. How can you help someone who cannot even tell you what their problem is? And if there is a problem, if it is their problem, the problem is actually from outside that has made them feel like this or have to. They're beautiful children. They're so loving children, but there is something that is not letting them to be who they are. I would love to ask you a question. Can you, just from your memory, talk about someone where you gave a remedy and you had this feeling, oh, wow, what a cure?
So I think I presented the case once. This is a girl, she was 3 years old, and she was diagnosed with moderate to severe autism. The patient was from Bangalore. It's a different city in India. I practice in Pune, which is in Maharashtra. So they contacted me online. The case was taken on Zoom. The child had absolutely no speech, not even responding to the name. She was absolutely indifferent to the surrounding, the classical autism picture. And the parents obviously were very worried that the child is not responding to the name. She's always occupied with herself. She's not interested with other kids to play. And they had gone through the testing, and I have the reports that she was diagnosed with moderate to severe autism. And I started treating her, and, step by step, like it's actually a hand holding kind of a thing. And now she's 100% cured. I have a video follow-up of the mother where the mother really thanked me. She goes to a normal school, she has a bunch of friends, and she's absolutely normal. I still have goosebumps
I'm
when her
also
mother
getting
thanked me.
goosebumps.
That, it's because it's a stigma. It's not easy. We as doctors can be empathetic and understand, but when they go into the social surroundings, they are judged. Even the parents are judged.
Mm, mm,
So that is why the government today talks of inclusiveness. We talks of that such kids, how should we deal them in flights or, in malls or in public places. But it's a pain to see the family go through all this. And yeah, it's absolutely amazing when a parent comes and tell you that my child is all fine. She's going to a normal school and she can interact now completely.
That's so
So that
beautiful.
was my first case and still the closest to my heart.
That's so, I can, as a homeopath and as a mother, I can actually feel how you must have felt. I'm also getting goosebumps just thinking about it. Just changing one person's life is so vital. It gives you, this is the profession that we love, that we see those miracles happening day in, day out, and we bring that smile back to the patient's face. That's why we are homeopaths. I know that in India, there is people cannot get admission in become homeopaths, but I know your story that you wanted to be a homeopath from the beginning. Can you say a little bit more about that? What was your
Yeah,
journey?
yeah, talk about it. And when we treat, I just wanted to add one thing. When we treat a kid, it's not only the kid, it's the family. You bring a smile to the whole family
Yes.
because we as mothers can definitely feel what we go through when a child suffers. So that was
Definitely,
very,
yes.
very important to me. Yeah, it is sad part that most of the homeopathic doctors are not by choice, but out of no choice situation when they do not get their admission in the MBBS college. That is the way they thought, okay, let's do homeopathy. And probably most of them don't realize that how beautiful the science and art is. But I belong to a family of homeopathic doctors and I always wanted to be one. So I dreamt of this world only. And today I'm living that dream. And I was always very, very clear that I want to do a classical homeopathy. Initial discomfort or roadblocks, I was not afraid of. I was ready to go through that grind to be a good practitioner, to do ideal homeopathic practice. So this was very, very clear. And still, I feel that if I can bring a change, not only in patient's life, at least one homeopathic doctor who feels that, okay, I should practice classical homeopathy and not do polypharmacy or start with allopathic practice, which usually in India people are doing now. I think it's worth that because It really brings a smile to my face when a lot of female, Naila, like a lot of female homeopathic doctors come and say that I've started working because of you.
Exactly.
I started my practice because of you. Because it's not easy for women, especially in India, to be a mother and at the same time be a women professional homeopathic doctor.
I
Right?
tell you, it's equally different. It's equally difficult over here as well because we
Okay.
still get help in India, house help, etc. But here we have to do everything ourselves, and then the husband comes in and he helps a little bit with the household work, and the kids have to help, and then we have to manage everything as a family. And I know I have read those words from homeopaths. Ruchi ma'am, we have started working after seeing your sessions. We have started working after studying with you. And she is not only a doctor, she's an inspiration for women out there that they can be practitioner alongside their household. All hail to you, Dr. Ruchi, because it is not an easy task to get out there and also motivate others. Come on, you can get along. Start doing it.
It's quite interesting. You were talking about pregnancy, and I know that we're going to talk about this in the actual masterclass itself. Before, there was not much talk. We know if we look back 2 decades, there was not much talk of autism. There was not much treatment, and it was very much, dare I say it, almost taboo that you don't want to speak about this. But as more and more children are suffering from this, we find that more and more people have opened up. And there's more and more treatment, and there's so many amazing homeopathic remedies which have come to the forefront. Homeopathy is progressive, okay? So it unravels itself when the time is right, and that's a blessing from God. I have to say, because it's just things happen at the right time when it's needed, right? And it's so interesting, isn't it? Pregnancy and the influence at that time, and how those emotions can be transferred, right? I mean, when we look at the miasmatic approach and we look at this predisposition and we look at what is that possibility? Even the miasmatic influence is like you're in a room and there's a door, and it's just, or a light switch, right? And you either turn the light on through a biological process, or you walk into that door and it becomes active. You're in that room, right? And there all of a sudden, there's a tendency to this, and there's a predisposition to that. It only comes to the forefront when a certain condition arises, right? But it's so interesting, isn't it, when we look at pregnancy and what the mother goes through. Sometimes just carrying a child is so traumatic for the mother, but nobody asks. Oh, generally the answer is yes, it was a fine delivery. But then when you hone down, it was like, no, the gas was needed, a CT section was done, painkillers were taken. It was a 2 or 3 day labor, and that plays a role on the body, right? And yet those questions were never asked before, and now all of a sudden it's just so brilliant with homeopathy that we can go into that depth.
True, true. It's not only delivery, sir, it's also from the time of conception, whether the lady really wanted a child or it was just a normal thing that you get married, then you have a first kid. Depends upon the social surrounding. Like earlier, it was always that you should have 2 kids. So it is just a normal phenomena, and the lady is not able to voice out that I don't want to be a mother or I'm not ready now. So it starts from the very first feeling that you really wanted a child or you don't want a child. And then comes how supportive the family was. Naila says it's all same there, but we have in India, we have a social structure like in-laws, expectations, a
Here
typical
as well.
social structure we follow that a lady is supposed to do household chores, even if you're pregnant. And there are some customs where you are put into the bracket that you're supposed to do this. And there comes the real struggle. Like I had a lady recently who talked that I really wanted to have raw vegetables. And she's a nutritionist, so she said, I understand we can eat it, but my in-laws were dead against it, and they said you cannot eat raw. Because in their culture they said that raw would create a lot of gas and there'll be a problem with the child. So such simple things where we
Yeah.
are not able to fulfill a basic desire to eat a salad. it's
Yeah.
it's sometimes so weird, but this happens.
That's
And
so.
then there is suppression, there's feeling of not being able to express yourself, and there comes the whole feeling of being suppressed, of being suffered wrong, of being, different feelings with different cases. And then there is a strong possibility of a child going into a neurodiversity.
No, I totally hear what you're saying, because as we are progressing, I think the suppression of the previous generations is now also being transferred into our children, because we are seeing it more often now. So what do you think? What are the other reason behind neurodivergency to be on the rise?
So if you ask me today, if you see post-COVID, the
Hmm.
numbers are really
Yeah.
dramatic,
Yes.
alarming,
Yeah.
that what went wrong after COVID. So first, yes, all the pregnant mothers were extremely, extremely anxious.
Hmm.
They were bound in the closed walls. There was no social
Hmm.
interaction. So a lot of anxiety and fear related in pregnancy. And second, the biggest problem is computers and laptops and mobile.
Hmm.
I don't see them as a boon to our generation.
Hmm.
Getting children exposed at a very, very early age, it's their developmental age to screen time,
Hmm.
leads to detrimental effects rather than
Hmm.
good effects. Like I have parents who say that during COVID we were busy and we used to, put the child and a laptop where there were rhymes playing, and we thought that the child is learning. But the child was seeing or watching the television for almost 8 to 9 hours. That is
Hmm.
the data I have. And after some years, we realized that, oh, he's not interacting with us, he's not speaking. So it's called as virtual autism. I
Hmm.
feel that is the biggest problem that we are facing today.
Hmm. Hmm.
Mm.
I can actually agree with that. Even with older children after COVID, there something happened, because they were, instead of being in a classroom interactive environment, they were sat in front of the screens, and the use of screen has increased in this generation now. Like, I see kids, there's 5, 6 children sitting with each other, and instead of interacting with each other, they're
On their
going to be
mobile.
playing the games they are playing, that will be on mobile as well.
Mm.
Like they play the snake and ladder, etc. They will be doing it on the mobile phone, instead of taking a board game out and playing on the board game. That is actually having a huge impact on the development of our children. We have to be very, very cautious. They need to go out, they need to climb the tree, they need to fight with their neighbors, they need to play pat that cat, they have to run, and then when they're running they need to fall down and then stand up again. They need to have those experiences. They're not going to
Mm.
get them from the screen.
It's a very interesting. What you've said is I like, it's something that really one can ponder on. That some years back, when there were no devices, it was quite a few decades now, isn't it? But it was playing on your bicycle or climbing a tree, or just going out and just playing on the road, right? Whatever you do, maybe in India it was cricket or maybe football, soccer, whatnot, and then that led to some skills, social interaction, interpersonal skills. And then we came to this decade of electronic devices, and then decades, succeeding that. And it's made children very introvert. Social skills are lacking, which is a huge has a huge detrimental effect. But also the fact that I have also seen this, I'm sure you have as well, and I know Nyla has as well, but when the children come out of that phase of looking at a device or watching TV with hawk eyes, like nothing, no sound, even if there's an earthquake happening, there is no way they're going to blink, and they're just watching, fixated, right? They're almost in that dream state, and they almost act in reality. That's why they can become so hyper, because they can't differentiate between reality and what's and fiction. It's interesting, isn't it? Because that's a dilemma in itself. The brain is confused. Are you still in that moment? And that's why you're shouting at your parents, or you're becoming very intrusive with your thoughts, or are you trying to come back? It's interesting, isn't it? Just to sort of reflect on that.
True, true. Man is a social animal. We don't need screens and mobile and TV to understand or to grow or to learn a language. Why a child will have delayed speech? Earlier, they were joint families, they were grandparents singing rhymes or singing lullabies to the little kids. We don't needed any television or a device to teach them how to talk. The
Mm,
speech therapist is a new thing. When I was, say, 3, 4 years, I remember only one child I knew who was neurodivergent.
mm, mm.
Now it's like the
Yeah.
numbers are really alarming.
Yeah, their numbers are alarming because my kids are school age and I see how there were just one or two children in the whole school and now there is one or two children in one classroom. And what is happening? Why are those kids trying not to be communicative with their environment? That's what want. We don't want to class them as someone else. We want to bring them back to us. Why they are looking forward to not be part of us? There's something that we want to do. There's something that we want to do for those kids, for those parents as well.
Mm.
It is difficult. You must have seen it is difficult as a parent. Okay, there is one child who is just not talking and is sitting in the corner, but there is another extreme who are very hyperactive, who are just constantly moving and crying and shrieking and banging their head. It's traumatic for a parent to see that. Do you have, can you share something with our audience, what you have seen in your practice?
Yeah, there are children who are extremely, extremely hyperactive. They're all over the place. They'll keep disturbing other kids, um, not able to sit at one place. So the teacher finds it difficult to, to make them sit on the chair. And it's sad because now this child is creating problems to other kids,
Mhm.
right? So the teacher raises its voice that we cannot have this child in our school because rest of the kids are getting disturbed.
Mm,
You know what the irony is in such cases? I have a special school close to my clinic. So when we say neurodivergent, it's a scale from a mild autistic to a severely autistic. So every mother feels that my child is better. It's not that autistic. It's mild and he's fine. But she, at the same time, whether my child, suppose, is an autistic child, will be judging a child who's more severely on the spectrum.
mm,
Because then she says, I don't want to put the child into that school because he learns something which he doesn't have.
mm,
Mm.
So it's sad that everybody, even the parents of neurodivergent kids, are also
mm,
judging each other.
This judgment,
It's a
judgment.
difficult world, believe me. It's easier to sit on this side of the table
Mm,
and say that I'm empathetic and I understand, but when you actually, because when I see a child for 45 minutes, my whole cabin is in chaos. There are toy boxes upside down, there are, my stethoscope is on the floor, so it's difficult. So now imagine a parent or especially a mother
mm,
handling that child 24 by 7
mm, mm.
It
and
is.
also being
That's
judged at social places, at malls, at cinema halls, that, oh, she doesn't know how to handle her kid.
Oh,
that actually takes me on to something. When we look at this and this example that you've given, it's so easy, isn't it? Just as people, not as homeopaths now, to forget the trauma, the tension, the anxiety, and the responsibility that the mother, all those emotions that she feels and she goes through, trying to protect her child as best she can when others are just judging and thinking, oh my God, oh my God. It's like, it's so difficult, right? To do that. I've seen that. I remember many years ago, and it may sound funny now, but it never was. But I remember a child coming who had autistic traits, and I had just, this is very, very long time ago, and I just set up the clinic at that time. And you set up certain things in certain ways, and some things are delicate because you've got figurines and whatever it is, right? And the child came in, and it was really hard for the mother, and he destroyed everything. As in, things did nothing broke, but things were like, he touched one thing, everything fell, and this and that. And at that moment, I wasn't worried about those things. I was thinking the mother was trying to hold on, and it's so hard. And it's important to treat the parents, right? whoever is involved, it's so important to look after them as well and to say, do you know what? It's okay. Yeah. Let's work together. Isn't it,
Mm.
Naila? It's so important, right?
So important. I've seen a few cases where parent came for the child and then they started seeking treatment for themselves. And as soon as the mother started the remedy, the biggest difference, biggest shift happened, because sometimes it's acquired. The child takes on the energy of the parent. Child is getting better, but then the energy of the parent, the anxiousness of the parent comes in, and then suddenly something happens.
Mm,
Suddenly another outbreak happens, but when the mother is on the remedy, everything is like like paradise. The house looks like paradise, and then they start looking at, because if it's a household of 4 children or 3 children, the other children suffer as well. And now the mother is starting to give time to the other kids, other children, what are their needs. They need me. And then I'm thinking of a case where the mother asked me, oh, this child needs help as well. Can you see her, please? Or this child, or my mother needs some help. Can you see her? So at that in the beginning, the mother was fixated on the child was fixated on the mother, and now her spectrum increased, her spectrum of looking at the cases, looking at other people around me has broadened. And that is bringing what you so beautifully said earlier. It's bringing healing for the whole family. It's just not treating one child, it's not just treating one person, it's like a community thing.
mm,
So needed nowadays.
It's not only anxiety, it's also the guilt, Was I not a good mother? And when they
Mm,
read the feelings that they had during pregnancy, oh, is there something wrong that I did?
mm,
Is that something wrong? I not a good mother? I gave screen at a very young age. So the kind of guilt you go through
mm,
of not being good enough,
mm,
is that
mm.
what kills you as a mother also
Yeah, it does.
at the
It does.
same time?
But we are always guilty about, oh, we never are perfect, right, for our kids. But this takes me to the role of the father, because the father has to be a big support for the mother and for the child. I know there are cultural differences there, but here I think the again the because mother has carried the child, so there is more connection, more bonding, but the father has to be involved in everything. They need to take the child and give mother that that time, that support that she
Space.
needs, so that she can maybe just switch off 2 hours, 3 hours, and gather those energies again to function for the rest of the week. So yeah, I love going off tangent on these things, because as a unit, as a family unit, you have to
yeah.
bring
And that's what we do.
everyone.
That's what we do on the Homeopathy Health Show. We love going off on tangent, and it makes no sense sometimes, but it's so good to do. This is this is what we say. Be inspired and join the conversation.
Yeah, do that. A question for you, Dr. Ritchie. Is there a specific remedy, or are there a specific set of remedies that you think are needed more often? Like, okay, I see maybe in a week I see 10 kids, 1 or 4 needed a different remedy, but maybe 5 or 6 needed just the same remedy or same set of remedies.
So if you ask me the most common remedies that we prescribe for such kids, yes. First of all, there is a big role of anti-miasmatic remedies. When we
Hmm.
talk of anti-miasmatic remedies, sulfur, tuberculinum,
Hmm.
medorinum,
Hmm.
very oftenly prescribed,
Hmm.
syphilinum, and then we have this hyoscyamus, stramonium, phosphorus. These are more, pulsatilla also comes very often.
Mm,
So
mm,
there are two group of children, the way you talked, that a milder section and a hyperactive section.
Hmm.
So neurodivergent, but mild and yielding, neurodivergent or autistic, but very hyper, all over the place, disturbing, aggressive, throwing things, maybe spitting.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
this section may require the remedies that I talked about, like carcinosin and pulsatilla and silesia. And this section may require more aggressive remedies, more delirious remedies like stramonium, hyoscyamus, veratrum.
Hmm.
So it depends what the picture of the child is.
You talked about the favorite group of mine, the Solanaceae family. We see it so often here. The child who is waking up terrorized, and the parents get terrorized at that time because the child is not responding, but he's full of terror. And only if everyone around the world know what stramonium can do at that time, there will be no terrorized nights anymore. When we are on the subject of talking remedies, can you touch upon a few remedies that we are going to talk about in the masterclass, like just a little bit, giving them a gist that what they are looking forward to?
So when we are going to discuss remedies in masterclass, I'll be talking a big section of remedies, the section of remedies that I have treated a case beautifully with arnica. You will not think arnica as a remedy for a neurodivergent kid. So natrum sulph comes very, very often. It's a beautiful remedy for neurodivergent kids. So we look probably at this common remedies, but from a different angle. And some uncommon remedies that you may not have heard about it or thought about it. It can be from the history or the feeling that the mother was going through, or maybe a road accident or a head injury in a very early years of development. So we'll be studying a large, large group of medicines, common medicines, but from a different angle. We have to study those remedy from a different eye.
Mm, mm, mm,
Like we like it's beautiful. There are a group of doctors who study from a pathological point of view. They say we prescribe from the pathology, the way Boger's approaches. Like he would talk about this remedy works. Like recently I was reading agaricus, and I have quite a few cases of agaricus. So I have always given it through mind, like loquacity in children, but not answering the question. So there's a common rubric which I use it very often, that answering aversion to sings, talks, but will not answer the question. So the child is singing, talking to his mother, asking questions, but the moment you ask a question, there is no answer. Very typical presentation of agaricus. But if you read Boger, it has a very other presentation, like it has a cerebrospinal axis. There'll be a lot of twitchings and jerkings in the morning, and which is not there at the night, or it's upper right and the lower left diagonal affections of joints. So the Boger talks about pathology. The Kent talks about the mind. But when we study neurodiversity, we talk about everything, because the only aim that we have is not to prove that Kent was better or Boni Hussein was better or Boger was better, that what approach we really need in this child. There are cases where we take a history for an hour, and believe me, we have nothing.
Yeah.
Just one common craving of sweets or just one sleep position on abdomen. And then you wonder that what to give to this child.
Yes.
This happens.
It happens, definitely. And those are the cases where I actually pray during the consultation, please, something has to happen now so that I can go to the right remedy, because otherwise you are just going to give the blanket remedy that covers those symptoms, and we might not get to the core of the case. But on the other hand, that might open up the case and you get to a better remedy next time. And this can
Exactly.
also happen. But yes, you're right. Because I recently wrote on agaricus and so beautifully said, I was thinking about my son. Maybe he needs a dose of agaricus now because he never answers my question, but talks about everything else. So
So
beautiful.
today only I was wondering, I was trying to study like what are the group of the remedies who are very loquacious, who talk a lot,
Hmm.
but are neurodivergent. You know?
Hmm.
So today only I was doing it for one child. So I was thinking that there are remedies, but our materia medica is not written in that fashion.
Yeah. Yes.
Like what I have done in my book also, we talked about clinical pediatrics. There's a lot of knowledge in a materia medica, but we have to read between the lines. There are no clear indications. There is no wisdom that, okay, if there is a child who comes to your cabin and you're talking to the child and the child is not absolutely responding to you, not even looking at you, he's not shy, he's not timid, but he's just giving a cold ear, kind of, oh, I'm not interested kind of a thing. He's just neutral. That is the right word. Then what to do? So I think our materia medica lacks that clear indication. Like if this happens, you think of this remedy. Like if I see a loquacious and a very cheerful and a vivacious child, but a neurodivergent, I think of cannabis indica, I think of crocus sativus, I think of agaricus, lachesis. So that kind of indications are missing. I
Yeah.
feel that we really need a handbook, which anybody, a novice, a doctor who's recently passed out, or I mean, they say that a seasoned doctor can also use it in his or her practice.
Yes, we definitely
So
need.
I really want to write a book on autism and neurodiversity because I feel that there's absolutely no data or a book or a literature which we can refer to.
We definitely know because I have been looking for books, and there are good books out there, but the way you are talking about that is missing. That is missing in our literature. Also because the masters who have written those books, they didn't see such prevalent cases of autism at that time. The Even though the core is same, but the language has changed, and we need to write the books in our current modern language of our current modern patients. And I loved what I've studied with you in your classes, that you go through the repertory, you maybe pick up one word, just like saying loquacity, and you'll see, okay, what are all the rubrics that cover loquacity, and what are all the remedies that cover loquacity, and how is that loquacity in one remedy different, like in cannabis it is different than in lachesis, and how will that person appearing in my practice, this is loquacious, am I going to give cannabis or am I going to give lachesis? You recently had a case where.
You know, I would really, sorry to
Yes,
interrupt you. What
sorry.
is the problem is, I recently attended quite a few autistic seminars and webinars, because we are all in the phase of learning and we want to learn.
Yes.
Mm.
So, there's seminars for 2 hours and 3 hours and sitting and waiting that probably they'll show us one case that they were treating, and that they talked about philosophy and plants and believe me, what not, but not one actual case reported. Maybe he's 30% better or 40% better, but we need to put cases, we need to put
Yeah.
research and innovation, that a proven fact that I give a remedy as simple as belladonna and this worked. Because I may talk for 2 hours or 5 hours talking about different families of plants and how fern is different from this. But if I cannot show in my class that one treated case, it will not help the mentees who have come here to learn.
It
Then
definitely.
how justified we are to,
Totally.
talk on that topic.
Absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
I'm thinking about the podcast that we have with Dr. John Shelton. Jan Shelton said he was seeing neurodivergent kids in his practice, and then he saw that they were not improving. And that was the birth of the journey to explore ferns. And he said it took him years to come to write that book after seeing so many patients who have been helped with those remedies. And that's what needed, that we need quality over quantity. We need quality data that is actually proven by the masters, and we can apply it. But we are not the master, we are learners. We are learning every single day from the masters who have helped those kids, and now we want to apply this into our practice. Okay, yes, philosophy is amazing, brilliant, materia medica knowledge is absolutely brilliant, but just giving them those nuggets. Okay, just forget everything else, just see these three indications. If you see these 3 to 5
Exactly.
indications in the child, in the patient, give the remedy. And this confidence that comes from prescribing this way will make us a confident prescriber as well. Otherwise, what happens is, when you are not sure about giving a remedy, the patient comes next time and you will change the remedy. What if it was the right remedy, but you had to repeat it or give it in a different potency? Or maybe the patient needed it frequently, or maybe it had to be given in LM. But now what? You have changed the remedy, and once you have changed the remedy, it's very, very difficult that you are going to go back to the remedy again. Give your judgment some time. You are a homeopath, you have studied so hard, then if you are giving certain remedy, there must be a reason. So just stay with
Mm.
with your judgment and maybe give your judgment another chance.
It's really beautiful what you both said. And also, when we look at that remedy, you mentioned agaricus and, loquacity, and Nyla speaking about lecasis and agaricus and the different type of loquacity. But we often overlook the doctrine of signatures as well, which is so, so important. It's fine having approving, it's fine having the materia medica, which is only a guide, by the way. Okay. It's fine having rubrics. But sometimes, if you just go back to the source, and the source is the doctrine of signatures, where are you standing? Where is that plant or the flower or whatever it is, right? Where is that mineral? What did it go through? What's around it? What's the environment? What's the climate? What is the culture around that? That paints the picture of that more than actually, dare I say it, a materia medica can, because you've actually lived in that environment, right? That's why they call homeopathy sometimes geographic medicine, because you can treat people from the Mediterranean only come with a certain, types of diseases and local. Actually, let me answer it even better. The native indigenous population of Canada, the US, and the Aborigines, for example, it was all local medicine. They didn't have to go miles and miles and miles, maybe once or twice, but everything was local, right? Geographic medicine. Now we look at homeopathy and it's the same. I know I've gone off on a few different threads there, but anyway, just thought I'd put my 10
That
cents in.
reminds me, Dr. Atik, I have a beautiful, beautiful case with doctrine of signature I'm going to present in the last
Oh,
session.
good, good.
It's a lovely case. I heard about that remedy for the first time, and I just selected the way you said, only on doctrine of signature.
Yeah,
So
brilliant.
yes,
Love
That
that.
each
would be
case,
nice.
That reminds me of a case of mine of a girl. She had COVID, and after COVID, she had these heart palpitations. She was talking about how she felt. She gave me all the symptoms, etc. But when I asked her, how do you feel when you have, or what is it when you have these symptoms? And I just had a chat with her. She's a teenager, and she said, I feel like I'm a daisy that is hanging like this and it's going with the wind like this and this. I was
Oh, so
like,
nice.
okay, Daisy, she's saying Daisy. Daisy doesn't hang like this. What is a flower that will hang like this and go with the wind like this and this? And I thought about, oh, it's pulsatilla. And I looked at
Yeah.
the remedy. It was so pulsatilla, and her symptoms were matching pulsatilla, and she was immediately felt so much better. She said 80% is gone just by
It's just, yeah. That's so beautiful you said that. It's just like arnica, isn't it? We know it when it grows, it gets easily bruised.
yeah.
Hello? Yeah? DOC, right? DOS rather. It's there, isn't it? So, hey, Nyla, we must talk about, because we're coming to the end of the episode, we must talk about the masterclass. It is starting in October, like I said, on Saturday, the 11th of October, with a free session. And then it's going to be a wonderful journey, I think, because Dr. Ruchi, you're covering the foundations of case taking as far as autism, clinical insights, pregnancy influences, and you're covering 80 maybe commonly used remedies, or remedies that can be considered, let's say, for autism cases, right?
yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
we'll be
brilliant.
seeing a lot of cases. We'll be talking about the remedies. We'll talk about the pregnancy history, and not only talking about, we'll be seeing cases where a specific pregnancy history is there, how we selected the remedy, and how it benefited. We'll be seeing actual recorded cases. That is the best part, I feel, because we can talk anything, but
Anything,
when
yeah.
there is a case, it's the data, it's the proven fact.
Mm.
So I'm not saying we are able to treat 100% of cases, but we have at Pediatric proven data and a fact that more than 50% of cases have responded. In fact, 100% of cases have responded something, like
Mm.
more than 40%. So if we are able to achieve that kind of
Mm.
results
Definitely.
also, it's great.
Anything,
It's good. Yeah.
anything.
It's going to be, I'm so excited for this class now, because
Same. I'm
it's
also
an
excited.
honor to present this as homeopathy in practice. So please do visit homeopathyinpractice.co.uk. Have a look at our socials. There'll be lots of promotion as well. And join this, because I think if you're a practitioner, or if you're just interested in how homeopaths go about treating cases of neurodivergence or children on the autism spectrum, you'll find this class very, very interesting. And it's actually called the Spectrum Masterclass. So, hey, how's that? So yeah, we're really looking forward, Nyla and I, to introducing this and introducing the work and the knowledge and the clinical experience of Dr. Ruchi.
Yes, absolutely. Don't take my word for it. I am already a fan of Dr. Ruchi because I've studied with her. I've always been looking forward to her lectures and then would rewatch the recording because the knowledge, the hands-on knowledge that she brings to the lectures is different than anyone else can present. Like she will not be just giving you theoretical knowledge that she has red hair or red hair. Everything what she has seen in her clinic. She has not worked with neurodivergent children only, but also all types and all ages of children. That's why her knowledge, her expertise are just whole encompassing every aspect of the case. She knows how this remedy is presented in this age group, how this remedy is presented in this age group, and how this remedy is presented in the children with special needs. What more can you ask from a teacher? If you are not excited enough, go to YouTube and watch her videos. She has done a lot of videos in English as well as in her local language. So I've learned a lot of remedies from you. Like when I was studying, I was watching your videos and was looking at the keynotes and how that remedy is presented in the college. In the college, I'm saying I was in the college. How the remedy is presented in your clinic. And
Yeah. That was funny.
yeah, I went back to college
I know.
because I remember I was
Hey, those days you've left behind now because you are co-founder of Homeopathy in Practice.
yeah, but I am an avid student. I cannot. I just want to study and study, and I can study day in day out. But yes, please sign up to our masterclass. It was an honor having you on our podcast today. Our show is brightened up with your bright smile. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for a
Thank you.
wonderful session, and we are so looking forward to the masterclass. Thank you, Dr. Ruchi.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I do hope you've enjoyed this week's episode of the Homeopathy Health Show. Tune in every week for inspiring conversations, bringing you all things health and well-being to your radio and podcast apps.
The more exposure the Homeopathy Health Show receives, the better for homeopathy around the world.
And please do support the show by clicking follow on our socials.
You can find us at www.homeopathyinpractice.co.uk and on Facebook and Instagram at Homeopathy in Practice. Do give us a follow on there. Let's promote the voice of homeopathy around the world together. Until next time, stay safe and take care.